Good afternoon, everybody. As Lourdes mentioned, my name is Aditi Vaidya, and I'm honored to be one of the planning committee members for this roundtable and this next session's moderator. Our conversation this afternoon will focus on learning how to meet the moment we're living in by supporting community power building organizations. Amidst the unprecedented challenges of the past 4 years and the effects of the global pandemic, we also saw the incredible rise of organized communities, particularly among low-income, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. For years, communities have been building power and winning change locally that target root causes of inequities. In 2020, we saw the visible rise of demands for racial and economic justice and incredible voter participation, particularly by Black, Asian, and Latinx communities, resulting from community power building. We also saw the critical roles that power building groups play in protecting and helping local communities address their immediate needs, from fighting evictions to getting access to food and shelter during this pandemic. So today we'll learn more about how these actions fit into a broader ecosystem of community power, grounding ourselves in research conducted by the Equity Research Institute at the University of Southern California that also shows that when grassroots communities build power, their actions change the economic, social, and political conditions in their neighborhoods. We'll also discuss the effective principles, research, and tools used to advance community power building efforts. And we'll learn how leading practitioners are partnering with grassroots communities. Over the course of this last hour of an incredible day, we will hear from a set of presenters who together have decades of experiences in supporting community power building, organizing, and grassroots-driven change. These presenters are funders, strategists, and researchers, and in some cases, former community and worker organizers themselves, who will share insights into what it takes to effectively support grassroots power building efforts. Our presenters, whose bios are their full bios are in your attendee packet, are Hari Han, who is the inaugural director of the Agora Institute, a professor of political science, faculty director of the P3 Research Lab at Johns Hopkins University. We'll also be joined by Ethan Frey, who is a program officer of the Ford Foundation's Cities and States team. Julie Fernandez, who is an associate director for institutional accountability and individual liberty at the Rockefeller Family Fund in New York. Mimi Ho, who is a current fellow and recent past executive director at Movement Strategy Center. And Taj James, who is the co-founder of Full Spectrum Capital Partners. There's a rich body of growing research that supports community power building. We've heard some of it today in past sessions. At the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, where I work, we recently funded Lead Local, a collaborative that over the course of 2 years resulted in some of the most up-to-date research looking at how community power building advances health equity. I invite you to take a look at the site that also includes films about community power building. Dr. Manuel Pastor and the team at the Equity Research Institute at the University of Southern California, who were also a partner in the Lead Local Collaborative, have studied social movements and grassroots community organizing efforts for over 20 years. As we have been discussing throughout today's workshop, we know that there are so many words and terms that come to mind when we talk about community power. Through the Equity Research Institute's work and others' research, including those that are research that's led by community power building groups themselves, we're defining community power here as the ability of communities most impacted by structural inequities to develop, sustain, and grow an organized base of people who act together through democratic structures to set agendas, shift public discourse, influence decision makers, and cultivate ongoing relationships of mutual accountability to change systems and advance health equity. Power, as we have heard today, is a multidimensional construct. The Equity Research Institute studies show us that there's an ecosystem of strategies, processes, and partnerships that are required to build power, where organizing and base building is at the center. Rashad Robinson, president of Color of Change, says the power to define what is needed is the power to shape what is delivered. That is what it means to organize for systemic change, to support communities to define what they deserve and need, so that together we can build the infrastructure, accountability, the narrative change, and organizing work to ensure it happens. As we can see from this diagram, research, resourcing, leadership development, and many other functions are critical to supporting organizing and base building as part of the community power ecosystem. And today we're going to learn a little bit more about how allies to this ecosystem play different roles and connect to the ecosystem in various ways. So now I'm excited to learn from Hari Han, our first speaker. She will share her experiences as well as examples about the ways her work supports community power. After we hear from Hari, we will open it up to our other four presenters, Ethan, Julie, Mimi, and Taj, to share their reflections, engage the ideas that Hari presents, and offer ideas and experiences of their own. Hari, as you share your work with us, it would be great if you could also share where you see your work fit into this community power ecosystem. Thanks so much.